The relationship between the United States and Vietnam is witnessing a rapid expansion. In September of 2023, U.S. President Joe Biden, along with General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam, Nguyen had met in Hanoi and inked a historical partnership. This newfound relationship between the two has raised eyebrows across the nation, particularly with China. It was stressed by some officials from the mainland that they will start a quote-unquote Cold War. However, regardless of what the Chinese may claim, this new relationship has helped build out a security dimension for Vietnam. A deal that U.S. officials stated as a demonstration that the United States is a Pacific nation and they are not going anywhere. This relationship, however, is more than just a new security dimension or an upgraded partnership. No. The new relationship, as China likes to claim, is a threat to their country. Why? Because this has opened up borders for actual arms exports from the United States to Vietnam. And yes, while the arms embargo has been lifted way back in 2016, this time is much more different than just an embargo liftment. The United States has been keen on helping boost Vietnam's military capabilities. This statement can mean so much, which is probably why China is threatened. This brings us to the most important question of today's video. What role will the United States play in bolstering Vietnam's military capabilities? What equipment is involved? Will any partnerships be included? These and a lot of other information is the topic of today. To begin, let us first understand that Vietnam has consistently been a partner to the United States prior to this deal. The lifting of the arms embargo in 2016 marked a significant turning point. This arms embargo liftment just basically means that Vietnam could purchase lethal military equipment from the United States. Why is that so important? Well, to begin with, the acquisition of strong military equipment opens up doors to Vietnam, especially with its tensions with China. For those unfamiliar, Vietnam, China, and some Southeast Asian countries have ongoing tensions due to China's outrageous South China Sea claim. Vietnam, on the other hand, is nothing but a tiny country compared to China. But being tiny doesn't mean being weak, especially if it holds lethal weapons that are capable of helping Vietnam stand ground against China's aggression. It is also known that previously, Vietnam has acquired Russian and even outdated Soviet-era arms. Although some like to claim that Russian arms are good enough and Soviet-era hardware is sufficient for domestic use, many observers still state that U.S. arms are far superior than that of Russia. Furthermore, acquiring U.S. equipment can also be argued as just the start. See, the U.S. and Vietnam are not just interested in exchanging goods and services. They are interested in a better securitization in the region. And these U.S. arms exports, military modernization, are just the beginning. We can further see how important these are by increasing evidence of U.S. military presence in Vietnam. For instance, in 2018, the USS Carl Vinson was the first by a U.S. aircraft carrier in more than 40 years, followed by another 2020 visit to a port on Da Nang. It is also known that in 2018, Vietnam had actually participated in the Rim of the Pacific military exercise, a testament that Vietnam has really been wanting to increase its security partnerships to the U.S. Now that we understand some facts about Vietnam's newfound relationship with the U.S., let us now discuss the actual equipment that Vietnam acquired from the U.S. so far. Since the arms embargo liftment in 2016, Vietnam actually did not acquire a lot. From 2016 to 2021, they acquired only $29.8 million worth of defense articles. These are just night visions, electronics, and so on. From 2017 to 2023, Vietnam has also only received about $104 million of State Department-funded security assistance. A further $81.5 million was also sent in 2018 to support an Indo-Pacific strategy. It can be stated that these really are not a lot, not even $1 billion or even $500 million altogether. But if you've been listening clearly, what is exciting isn't really about the past, but the future. This is where things are really interesting. Some of the most recent defense deals include 6 ScanEagle unmanned aerial vehicles. These are autonomous systems and can operate for up to 19,500 feet in the sky and loiter for more than 24 hours. These new UAVs will help Vietnam's surveillance capabilities, which may possibly help maneuver around its seas. Secondly, another defense deal also includes 12 Beechcraft T-6 Texan II trainer aircrafts. The U.S. has also provided Vietnam with decommissioned Hamilton-class cutters, which are said to be used to help monitor Vietnam's seas. These are still obviously small, but they are a good step to the future. These trainer aircrafts are important because they are slowly opening up the possibilities of using future US aircrafts. See, what these trainer aircrafts are basically for training. Vietnam, which has also used Russian aircrafts, will likely need retraining to accommodate US aircraft. Or to put it simply, these training aircrafts is just the beginning, and after Vietnam pilots understand how US aircrafts work, they can proceed to acquiring better and more advanced military equipment. This brings us to the so-called F-16 aircrafts. The US, according to many articles, has been in talks with Vietnam for the acquisition of F-16 fighters. In September 2023, the Biden administration reportedly have an ongoing agreement with Vietnam for the largest arms transfer ever in history between the Cold War adversaries. These packages could also potentially include the sale of F-16 Block 70-72 fighters. What are these? Well, they are the newest and most advanced Viper production configuration. In fact, it is quite terrifying that a Chinese state-owned media published an article stating that US offered Vietnam F-16 fighters to sabotage peace and stability. The article further showed that Beijing-based military experts were terrified of such a deal. These F-16 fighters will help the US gain another foothold in the region through political strings like demanding the use of Vietnam Air Force and naval bases. To be frank, however, these Beijing-based military experts and state-owned media by the Chinese Communist Party are publishing these simply because they present a threat to China. Regardless of what may happen in the future, it is truly understood now that Vietnam is slowly becoming one of the US's most important allies. And as soon as more information comes out of this largest military deal between the two countries, it is sure that Vietnam's defense will increase rapidly and help fend off China's aggression. It is also, of course, will help Vietnam's defense capabilities to be less reliant on Russia. Now, what's at stake here with Russia? Well, obviously a lot. We know just how much aggression Russia has done to the West. Now that the US has won a partner in Vietnam, more will likely follow. But it is still good to be wary of such deals. These are not criticisms, but rather essential to understand. We should not forget that there are possibilities that the US may have access to Vietnamese military bases. As soon as they continue partnerships, the likelier it becomes. The Philippines, for instance, had once expelled the US from its military bases. Now, if you hover over the news, the US is coming in flocks. Will it be the same for Vietnam? Well, only time will tell as well. Further, there are also challenges with China. As soon as the US continues to expand its military efforts with Vietnam, China isn't going to sit down and watch. Likely we're going to see something out there, something significant enough to cause issues in the regional peace and stability. Finally, before we end the video, we always address the economic side of the story. This is vital because Vietnam, which has seen its relationship with the United States to increase, is going to benefit a lot. You see, Vietnam's acquisition and formal upgrades in security ties with the US isn't just about territorial issues, regional peace, or any of that kind. It is more than that. When the US president visited Vietnam in 2023, they signed far more deals. These deals extended to technology, particularly in the semiconductor field, to a lot more others. This has then brought in billions, yes, billions of US dollars worth of foreign investments to Vietnam. The reason being, the US wanted to both diversify its presence in China, but also because private interests have risen as they know that Uncle Sam will indeed be a vital partner to Vietnam. So where does this leave us? Will the balance of power tip to Southeast Asia as Vietnam rises as a military powerhouse? Or will it start a Cold War as China likes to claim? Well, do let us know what you think. Thanks for watching.